Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Puppet Master Month here on Reaction and Review. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we are tackling the 6th film in the series, and, a lot of people would have completely given up on a film franchise once it gets up to the 6th movie, because that is when, because that actually is when almost all doubt gets pitched out the frickin' window, and we know it's gonna suck. Now, I, though, have been a fan of the first 5 films. I'm willing to give this film a shot, but first I guess I ought to explain the history behind Puppet Master 6. Or actually, I really shouldn't be calling it that because they stopped numbering it with this one. Tonight's film is called Curse of the Puppet Master. And the story is that Puppet Master 5 was made in 1994, and they swore to God it was going to be the last film in the series, and they weren't going to go further with it. Then 4 years later, they decided to churn out this thing because I really don't know why. I seriously wasn't able to look into it. I honestly don't know if there was some kind of like a fan, outcry for we have to have more. I actually have heard tales of them doing a new Puppet Master trilogy, which was going to start with Curse of, and it was going to be the puppets facing off against classic monsters. The Mummy, I believe, like Wolfman and Dracula were the 3, and it was going to be one film dedicated to each, which would probably have been really cool, but that didn't happen. Instead, we got this thing, and I know nothing about it. I have no idea exactly which puppets are featured outside of Blade, Pinhead, Tunneler, and Jester, because they're in every single film. Alright, beyond that, I have no frickin' clue I have no idea exactly which puppets are in this. I have no idea what in the hell the story is. I know nothing. So I'm going into this one totally blind, which is just how I love to do reaction and review. I always like to go into it as blind as possible because I don't want anything spoiled. So I am kind of anxious on this one. I have no idea if this one's going to be any good because I heard that they weren't able to get back the guy who did the special effects from the first 5 films in for this one. So we're probably not going to see the same kind of high quality effects we saw in the first 5 films. But I'm hoping that the film will still be able to, live off of whatever in the hell they were able to do. So, without further ado, it's time to kick back, relax, and check out Curse of the Puppet Master. So this guy, who is the new Puppet Master, I'm going to assume, when he builds a puppet and it doesn't quite work out, he takes it out to the fucking middle of the woods and just torches it. Okay. For some reason now I actually kind of sort of want to see the puppet that he, actually lit on fire. I'm curious exactly how badly he can fuck up a puppet. I'm just curious. Okay, so we have this redneck who's carved out this little friggin' wooden thing, and apparently it is supposed to look really good. I can't tell because there's no close-ups. It just basically looks like a hunk of wood to me. Yeah, that actually is just a little issue with this, is that they are trying to play it up like he has this, savant artistic quality, but you can't see it with these fucking wide-angle shots. It's kind of shit, really. Okay, so they have 6 shooters showing off his talents by shooting at cans for a crowd of people. Crowd of people standing directly behind the cans. Now, 6 shooters' bullets have been shown to be really fucking strong. So wouldn't the bullets pass right through the cans and hit the people standing right behind it? I just sort of thought I'd mention that. It actually is kind of bugging me a little bit. So this crazy old bastard's gonna ask this guy to carve up pieces to actually build this puppet, but he's not gonna tell him what the fuck it's going to look like. That actually is kind of a big fucking detail when you're asking somebody to build, or rather to build the pieces for you. That might come in handy. Just saying. Okay, guys. They teased showing us this stupid burnt puppet from the start of the film. the only thing we get's a fucking hand. That just sucks. Oh, for the love of God! Alright, folks. You know, I actually went into Puppet Master Month thinking I'm not going to see genitals get mutilated, but no. Tunneler just had to drill right into that guy's junk. Fucking A. I really hoped I'd be able to go this entire month without seeing something like that, but guess I was fucking wrong. Okay, so the cops have finally found the body, and they were describing everything which happened to him. The stab wounds in his skull, and his skin was apparently like peeled off the top of his skull. But then they show the corpse. It looks nothing like that. It actually just sort of looks like he's been stabbed a few times, and he has like a big like gash in the top of his head. That is nowhere near the nasty shit which was fucking described, man. In fact, hell, that actually was fucking cheap as shit. So this is our payoff. We finally get to see the puppet that was burnt up at the start of the film, and it honestly is not this evil, horrible, monstrous-looking thing. It's just kind of ugly and horribly burned. Yeah, that fucking payoff really sucked. Wait a minute. That's it? That is how you're gonna end this shit heap of a fucking movie? Dear God in heaven. Okay. Well, that's Curse of the Puppet Master. Just let me pop the disc out, because now we get to talk about this. Alright. Let's start, first and foremost, with the special effects. Because for the past 5 episodes, I have done nothing but praise the fantastic effects that have been used in the Puppet Master films. Because it's been 5 movies, all of them with rather low budgets, that were showing us some of the greatest stop-motion animation you will ever find anywhere. And then Curse of the Puppet Master just comes along and shits all over the effects. First of all, I should mention that about 90% of the effects were really good. But the reason why they were really good is because they were stock footage from the previous 5 films. I swear to fucking God, guys, almost every shot involving the puppets was lifted from other films, and the times when they're actually using puppets for brand new shots, the puppets look like shit. The biggest instance has to be a shot where we happen to see Blade, and Blade looks absolutely misshapen and shitty, and that's just because you weren't supposed to be focusing on him. Alright? The puppets look horrible, and the fucking special effects are shit. I'm gonna tell you guys right now, how many of you happen to remember in my review of Puppet Master 4, I believe it was either 4 or 5, when I mentioned the bit with the fishing line, where no wait, now that actually was 5, where the fucking totem was hit with lightning, and you could see the fishing line behind it as it goes in and, you know, yanks the puppet back. That was kind of understandable. This time, though, we actually have a shot where Jester is, for the second time in the franchise history, actually doing something of relevance. And you can clearly see the rod that is coming out of his wrist. You didn't have that in the other films. They actually knew how to hide rods, and they knew how to move these puppets and make it look freakishly real. But this film didn't bother to do that. This film was really fucking lazy. The story. First of all, I should mention that the film is only about 78 minutes long, roughly, and it spends a good chunk of that hinting that we are essentially watching a reverse Pinocchio story, because we all know that this guy is going to be turned into a puppet. He actually even has dreams about it. And I should mention that the fucking effects in one of those dreams was laughably bad. He was tasked with building this puppet out of wood. You very clearly hear that he is working on wood, and there are certain shots where he is carving clay, and the puppet that he winds up getting zapped into at the end doesn't have a speck of wood or clay in it. It's a motherfucking robot made out of metal and with PC cords. There is no way in hell he was fucking carving that. So now I have to wonder, where the fuck was the puppet that he was supposedly building? Just Jesus Christ. There are just gaping like logic holes, and there are characters which go nowhere. There is nothing of interest and nothing of value in this entire film. Oh my god, camera work. Guys? You guys happen to remember in the previous episode I was talking about how the series began to use Dutch angles? You know, Dutch angles are, rather actually than have the shot be perfect, it's, you know, tilted slightly. This film uses it even more. And it's done in a really irritating fashion. Okay? It's like they and when the shot is perfectly uniform, I can almost guarantee you are going to see a fucking boom mic hanging in the shot, and it's going to look kind of like this except black and fuzzy. You see this at least twice, and I wasn't even looking for it. You will see boom mics in shots. You see fucking rods on the puppets. This was some of the laziest camera work I've seen in the entire series. And what's really funny is that even though this was a low-budget film, they actually got a big-name actor in this. Well, a somewhat big-name actor. This isn't a big-name actor. I'm sorry. For some reason, I could have fucking sworn that this thing starred Gregory Peck. But no, it actually stars George Peck. And has George Peck done anything? I'm actually checking right now. Apparently not. So, never mind then. They couldn't even fucking do that much. They actually got a guy whose name sounds like Gregory Peck, but is a shit-tastic actor. Every single actor in this film royally sucked balls. Oh my god. And also, I should mention, this film is dull as shit, too. There are massive points of just downtime where nothing is going on. And I actually took a little bit of that downtime to go and look up what I was talking about during the intro, which was the fact that this was originally supposed to be a brand new trilogy, which was going to be called Puppet Wars, where Toulon and his puppets were going to fight legendary monsters, and I believe I said that one of them was the Wolfman, and I was wrong. It actually was the Mummy, Frankenstein's monster, and Dracula. This film was supposed to be Toulon and the puppets in Egypt fighting the fucking mummy. I would have loved that a hell of a lot more than this sack of dog shit, because, hey, at least that might have been interesting. At least that might have been creative. This thing was just a fucking abomination, and it really makes me dread the other films I still have to watch in this stupid thing. Speaking of that, folks, yes, there are still 2 more movies I'm going to be covering, and I'm going to say this right now. I have a high hope that Retro Puppet Master and Puppet Master Axis of Evil are nowhere near as horrible as this fucking thing was. This film was a pain to get through, and yet I would still recommend purchasing at least those 2 fucking triple feature DVDs I've been harping on for the past few episodes. Because you know what? At least 5 out of those 6 are really good, and it's definitely worth it. And it all depends on how how good these are to actually determine if you should go and buy the full box set. So, yes, guys, next episode's going to be Retro Puppet Master, and I have been warned. I have been warned by friends who've watched the entire series that Retro Puppet Master is the worst. Yet I strongly doubt it, because I don't think anything is going to be as shitty as Curse of the Puppet Master. This thing was absolutely unwatchable, and I'm real happy that I don't ever have to watch it again. This thing was just shit on a stick. It was awful. Oh, boy. Well, I had a funny feeling that I wasn't going to be able to go the entire month with good movies. But this one, my God, guys, it's just that the fucking quality drop was massive. I mean, because, you know, Puppet Master 5 was great. And then this thing comes out, and it's 4 years older, which means they've had time to perfect new ways of moving these puppets on camera, and they go back to archaic methods that weren't even used in the first 5 fucking films. Oh, and one other huge gripe. The opening credits are almost nothing but stock footage from the previous 5 films showing off all of the puppets. And Torch is shown prominently in the fucking opening credits. Torch is nowhere in the goddamn film. Leech Woman has come back for the first time since Puppet Master 3, and she does absolutely nothing. You see her essentially just, standing around twice, and every single time you see her moving, it's all stock footage. This thing is just an absolute abomination, and I'm telling you guys right now, this one is the first film in the series you can truly avoid. This thing, I am really just rambling. I really think I'm just pissed off because the first 5 were so fucking good. Oh, Jesus, fuck. Okay, guys. I actually am going to have to go and I'm going to have to go and vent a little bit of rage right now, so that actually is going to do it for this installment of Reaction and Review. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, take care, and I will see you all in the near future. Peace.